Welcome to Groove Portia, the podcast that uncovers the hidden treasures within grief. I'm your host, Portia the producer, and I'm inviting you to join me on a transformative journey where we will exchange laughter, of course the best medicine of them all. Reflect on cherished memories. Remember that time that the little boy grabbed my hand instead of his mother's at the amusement park? Yikes. And of course, discover gratitude while navigating one of life's hardest challenges, loss. So get ready to groove with me, Portia the producer. Let's dive in. Welcome to Groove with Portia. I am your host and face, Portia the producer, and this is Groove with Portia on location. So as always, I ask, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with the latest and greatest of all Groove with Portia. So today on location, we are joined by our girls from Island Beats, Zoe and Iris, and we also have our friends from the American Lung Association, Miss Kiara. So for starters, everybody, you know I love to start off my conversations with gratitude. I noticed that the Wi-Fi password downstairs said gratitude, so why not? So we'll start with you, Zoe. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for the opportunity to be around such beautiful women today.
Works for me. I feel like, hey, why not? You know, that's a real thing, right? Because we tend to sometimes not always be in community where we feel safe, where we feel heard, where we feel as though there's a connection deeper than just superficial business to business, right?
Absolutely.
I agree. What about you, Iris?
I am grateful that every women are starting to get our message. We have a message, and you know, because we built Island Beats for a purpose, and I thank you ladies for getting our message, for understanding why are we here. Everybody has a purpose, and you guys understood our purpose. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's always a pain point to the purpose, and we're going to dive more into that. So I can say I'm grateful as always for these opportunities. Those of you who know, Groove with Portia will be 4 in October. And when I started Groove with Portia, it was thank you so much. This is one of my dreams, was to be able to take Groove with Portia on the road and be able to have these soulful conversations with people, to really share the richness that's within stories, and also to be able to give people an opportunity to see that there's more to us beyond what we do in the face of the public. So I'm grateful for these opportunities. What about you, Kiara?
I think you all hit it on the head. I think I'm grateful to have 2 other organizations willing to partner with me to help us get our mission across, that we know, to help fight lung disease. I think it takes the community, and you're seeing the community here together.
Awesome.
What's the word? Unity in community?
Yes,
I think it's a real
UNITY.
So one of the things that all of us have in common, being the human beings that we are, is grief. Right? Each and every one of us, those of you who know, I talk about my grief journey of losing both my parents 9 months from each other. But one of the central themes of Groove with Portia is showcasing the gift, the hidden gift that comes from our grief journey. So I'm going to start with Kiara first. Kiara, we all have, what would you say is the hidden gift within a recent grief journey that you've had?
I would say that you find strength that you didn't know you had, the ability to pull from where you thought you had nothing else to pull from. You typically don't discover those things until you're in something tragic like grief. So that's something I've learned over my recent griefs. Yes.
Strength, I can agree with that, right? Like there's this flame that you have that, you know, tends to be anger, right? Where anger is a good thing. I think we tend to put a negative connotation on anger, but I can say from my journey, anger has been kind of that fuel for me to take action. And what about you, Iris? What would you say is that hidden gift?
I think that my hidden gift, mostly everybody's hidden gift, is faith. Faith. Have faith that you can bypass that. Have faith that you have family that will support you, friends that will support you. Have faith in God. You know, there's always something higher and more, way above and stronger than you are. And I believe in that.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, that faith is that what I call the life jacket. You know, grief is kind of the life jacket when we're out in the ocean, right? But it's that faith that gets us back to shore and gives us that opportunity to say, you know what, I can swim and I can also drown. So I think that's a good way to put it, Iris. I appreciate that. What about you, Zoe? What's the hidden gift in grief for you?
And I can drown. So for me, the hidden gift that I discovered in my grief was a purpose for my life that I didn't even know
Elaborate on that.
existed. So my father was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in February of 2019. And it was pretty tragic. Like, it came about all of a sudden, but now that I think about it, it really wasn't, because he was complaining about certain things. But anyway, May, he died. And from February to May, I needed an outlet. I needed something to do. And both my mom and my dad knew that I had started taking Zumba classes. And they were both like, just go and then come back when you're done. So I would go to these classes, not realizing that I would be here, 4 or 5 years later. And that it was a flame that got sparked in me. It wasn't anger, it was grief, it was sadness. But within there I found joy, which is kind of like swim and drown at the same time when you're experiencing, someone that you love, them passing away, and you're learning something new that you like. It's like that duality. So there's a lot of little gifts in there, I guess, for me in that journey.
I love how you brought up the word duality, because I think grief does paint that if we're open to sitting in it, right? It shows the reality of, yes, I'm hurting because this person who I've grown to love all these years is no longer here.
Right.
But then also the world around me is still going on.
Right.
So it paints yes, I'm going to have sad moments, but also I'm going to have happy memories with other people without this person with me.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the next part of the conversation, if our audience wants to connect with you and learn more about you and come and dance the pain away, no pun intended.
Right.
Could you guys share your social media or website where they can find you?
We can be found on Instagram. I'm looking at the camera, right? Instagram at island.beats.cle. And we're also on Facebook, Island Beats with Iris and Zoe. We have a Facebook page. Individually, you can follow Iris at Nieve 1918.
Nieve 1918.
Yes. Just look up the word snow.
Look up in Spanish. Yes.
And my handle on IG is gone.girl.go.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to touch base back on that, because I lost my dad all of a sudden, not cancer, but it was a very tragic death, and it puts you back to reality. You have to be realistic, guys. We're not here to live forever. It's a grief. Yes, I cried, and up to this day I still. It's been 20 years, but my thing is, it's the reality of it. And this is where you learn to walk those steps, because you have to come back to reality, because this is what's going to happen to all of us. So just like as we go, our kids, our family are going to be grieving us also. So we have to be realistic and teach that forward. This is the real thing. And I always say this when I was growing up, there's 3 things in life that you can't avoid. I mean, there's 3 things in life that you can't avoid, which is death, which is make somebody to love you, and which is trying to be something else that you're not. Those 3 things. So I always learned that since I was little, and my mother always told me that, and that put me back to reality.
And I thank you for sharing that, because I mean, when you think about grief is a part of all of our journey, but we have been conditioned to see grief in such a negative light.
Right.
And what I'm hearing from everybody who's present here is that we've all taken our grief journey and turned it into something purposeful, something powerful.
Yeah.
And I can share with all of you that through losing both my parents, I'm 31 years old and I'm an adult orphan, right? I can laugh at it because it's pretty funny, But it's like at the same time, I know that my parents are proud. I also am open to the fact that I can help other people.
Right.
Because grief, even though it's a process, right, there's also an opportunity for us to grow.
Yeah.
There's also an opportunity for us to really choose to live a life to the fullest.
Right.
Because like Iris was saying, it puts the reality check in front of you. Like, here's your check. Now read it. It says this amount of money and that's all you're getting. And I think that if we take that approach with our grief and embrace it instead of evade it, I think it'd be a little smoother of a ride. So that kind of leads to the next part of the conversation that I wanted to start with. So I know, Kiara, you are here with us because we have a special event that is going on that all of us are going to be a part of. So I'm going to let you share about it, then we'll let Iris and Zoe share what their part is going to be.
Yeah, well, I think it's two things. There's a pre-event to the event, but Zoe and Iris are grateful. Been a pleasure that they're willing to have a Zumba class where they will be donating the funds to our Lung Force Walk. So our Lung Force Walk is going to be Sunday, October 1st at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. With Cleveland Clinic Respiratory Institute being the presenting sponsor again. And I think something new this year is that we hear walk and we think a walk is a walk, but really we want it to be a fun community event where you can come and you can participate in games, enjoy some Zumba, learn about our mission, learn some lung facts, and get to mingle with other people in your community who care about the same things you care about. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to be at the zoo. And then you get that added bonus of, if we wrap up, you get to enjoy the rest of your day at the zoo. Complimentary, compliments of ALA.
Aww.
So, Kiara, really quick for our audience, if they want to register for the event, if they have not joined a team, is there a website or social media or contact they can find to do that?
Yeah, so you can go to lungforce.org/Cleveland to register, create a team, and then as well you can follow us at American Lung Cleveland to keep up with all that we're doing here in Cleveland. In our bio is some more links for you if you can't find it.
And our link will be up soon because we have a team, an Island Beats team. So we're going to put our link on our social media so folks can join our team if they want.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, it's a collective, right?
Yep.
You know, as we do these types of collaborations, there's a bigger purpose behind it, right? Each and every one of us has what I call the why effect. We all have our why. For both of you, it stems from your journey of creating Island Beats and the pain of losing somebody. Same with me. My mom was a Lung Force hero, and that's how I even got involved with the American Lung Association. Because my very first walk was the very last walk that me and my mom did as a team.
Oh, wow.
And I'll never forget it because it was so profound and so powerful. My mom was on oxygen, had her walker, walking up, and this was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the year that I went with my mom. My mom finished her entire mile on oxygen and with her walker.
That's amazing.
And so I'll always remember that, you know, as my why, to show up for other people and not only just continue my mom's legacy, but also encourage other people.
That's good stuff.
You know, I want to touch on something we were talking about in the beginning before we started this conversation when it comes to breathing, right? And Iris, you were kind of talking about it a little bit. Why do we tend to hold our breath when we're doing cardio exercises, and how can people remember to actually breathe when they're doing some type of cardio?
Well, I'll just say real quick that you need that oxygen. You need that oxygen because you're letting go so much of the other stuff that comes out of your body. You need to replace it. So I think that we tend to hold our breath because we think that's easy. It's easy. It's like a default kind of thing, right? Like we just default to that. But when you make a point to bring it down, I'm serious. And that's part of the reason why I think we can be so loud. We use our voices a lot when we're doing Zumba because we're breathing. And that helps to kind of keep us energized, so to speak.
I also think that, there's a saying, you can't think and chew gum at the same time. So sometimes people are working out and they can't do that breathing technique at the same time. So it takes practice. And while we teach, we show our girls, breathe in, relax, breathe out. It's not a race. Oh, I'm going to get to the next song. No, it's an exercise. But that whole exercise has to come with the full body effect. Also, hydration is very important. So that helps you breathe better. Not a fan. So everybody's, oh, it's so hot in here. You need to hydrate because that's when it's like your body comes back to life every time you take a sip of water. So that's very important too. And then you stay beautiful like me.
It's like putting water on the dry plant and then all of a sudden it just sprouts back up.
Back to life, exactly.
Yeah.
Back to life, back to reality.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just
Yes.
breathe.
Yes, well.
And sometimes you need to just let it out too.
Yeah, I'm like in yoga, they're big on that. It's because you're releasing the air and all the toxins out of your body. So it's important.
Like, we all got to do that, like take that in. And, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of Group with Portia.
Thank you,
We're going to wrap up here. We're going to start with Kiara. I always love to save this question for last. For our listeners who's tuning in, what words of inspiration can you leave with them today? Whether it's someone who was once in your shoes and wants to really make a difference in their life starting today. What words of inspiration can you leave with them today?
Oh boy, you put me on the spot there, Portia.
Hey, put you under the fire.
We didn't know this question beforehand.
Hey, like I said in the beginning, I'm like a jack in the box. You know what you're gonna get.
Well, I'll say this. Since I've only been with ALA, a year. I used to intern here back, when I went to the Ohio State University. So it's been but what I've learned is when I get to have these conversations with Portia, with Zoe, with some of these other individuals who've lost their loved ones, and that's why they reach out. They're seeking us. They want to know what they can do to get awareness out because they didn't know, right? People always think that you only get lung cancer because you smoked. You only get lung cancer because you were around someone who smoked. So they often think like, I didn't know, right? And I wasn't seeking the information, but now that I know, I want to share that information. So I think it's very inspiring that instead of, we don't hide away, we come and we seek one another when we're looking. We want to fill that void. We don't, for the most part. And those have been some of the most beneficial conversations. I didn't know when I approached Zoe and Iris that she had the connection to lung health and lung cancer. So often I go out and I'm in the community trying to get people to join us and partner with us, and they lost someone. Their son has asthma. Their child suffered long-term effects of RSV. And so I think it's often inspiring to me to know that we're not alone. There's someone else going through hardships also. And when we can come together, we can support one another and, join together.
Thank you for sharing that. I can agree, like that community and grief can be so isolating sometimes. So I can agree. Iris, what about you? What words of inspiration can you leave with our listeners today?
I just say reach out to your community. There's so many things out there that you can help. Just a little grain of rice. You know how rice grows? It grows. And the more you reach out to the community and you put that little grain of rice, the more blessed you will be in your life. You have to do that. You can't just take. You gotta give and give and give. And that's important because what you take inside here is what's important, not what you have around you. That stays. What you take with you is your conscience and your good way of being a good human being. So for me, that's important.
Hey, mic drop on that. Go ahead, Zoe. What words of inspiration can you leave?
That first, the second question you asked us about the gifts. Find the gifts in life and enjoy life. I mean, we can be so stressed out. We can be so worried about the future. We can be stressed because we got bills to pay and, you know, the kids in school and, you know, just any and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
But when do we get a chance to really actually enjoy life?
yeah, exactly.
You know, and I have made it my mission at 55 years old. My life is not perfect. I got craziness like everyone. But I tell you what, I'm going to try my best to enjoy the rest of my life. Because I saw what happened to my father. And
Mark your calendar for September 24th, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. at the Old Brooklyn Social. Join your favorite duo, Iris and Zoe, for Just Breathe, a Zumba Pop-up class that's all about giving. You'll be supporting the American Lung Association Lung Force Walk on October 1st at the Cleveland Zoo. It's just $10, but it goes a long way for a worthy cause. Remember, particle pollution in the air we all breathe can lead to lung diseases, including cancer. That's why we're here to promote clean air and healthy lungs. Save the date September 24th. Let's make a difference together.
Iris, Zoe, and Kiara, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for coming on. This concludes another episode of Grew with Portia, season number 2. Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace and hair grease.
Hey!
Thank you so much for tuning in to Grew with Portia. Remember to subscribe to my channel for the latest episodes. And of course, follow me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram at Portia the Producer. Anyway, guys, until we meet again, peace and hair grease.